Okay, get ready, because this is gonna be a lot. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Except for technically the Nova Star, I'm like, I really don't recognize almost any of these names. So I'm like, head scratching where they're gonna go. But these are the stars, at least for the pilot of the new Buffy reboot. And yeah, the news is kind of mixed, but let's get to it. And it's a lot of names, but we'll work through it. So we got Kingston Verns, and I believe the rumor is he will play Carson. And then we have Audrey Grace Marshall playing Jessica, Winston Vengapali playing Chaz, Sarah Bach playing Gracie, Jack Cutmore Scott playing Mr. Burke, Daniel D. Tomaso playing Abe, Ava Jean playing Larkin, and Fali Rakoto Havana playing Hugo, or Ugo, but don't quite know if he's going to be playing a Latin person. So, what to make of all this? Well, we don't have too much with plot, but I think the premise is fairly obvious here. Apparently, there's some kind of extreme right wing Christian organization. So we have this kind of academy, I guess, and this is where it's going to get a little weird. I don't know if they're literally rebuilding Sunnydale. Minor spoilers for Buffy, the original series, but basically Sunnydale was destroyed at the very end of the show. Literally, the final episode, they destroy the whole town. So they rebuilt Sunnydale, apparently, and in this new Sunnydale, is it literally in the same spot? That's hard to believe. It was a massive hole, but whatever. So in the new Sunnydale, there's this academy, and apparently this cult is operating there, and I guess Buffy and Nova, the new Buffy, will spring into action and stop the cult from culting. And there we go. And, it's Buffy, so I expect a lot of twists. So I can kind of foreguess a lot of things like, oh, Buffy may have a relationship with Mr. Burke. Double, triple twist, probably Mr. Burke is the bad guy, and, there we go. So there's a lot of things that are head scratching. In the original Buffy, usually the antagonists are demons and vampires. I would assume it's Vampire Slayer, so they're going to be vamps. But are they just instruments? And Burke or whoever the real villain is are just using the vampires? Are we dealing with a super powerful demon that can operate in the daytime? Unless it's going to be Mr. Burke just always teaches at night or just is always found at nighttime? Coincidentally, I don't know. So I'm foreguessing the plot will be that. But yeah, this is all kinds of weird. And now we have way more information. All right, we have a lot of behind the scenes photos, and they do seem to indicate, yeah, we're going back to Sunnydale. I was wondering, like, where exactly is this fictional story taking place? And it is a little confusing. So, again, this is an alleged plot leak, so let's take that with a grain of salt. Again, I'm guesstimating a lot here. This is from Fear HQ, and this is what they're reporting. So, Nova, that's the new Buffy, a 16-year-old bookworm who discovers she's a vampire slayer in a rebuilt Sunnydale, okay, split between gritty old Sunnydale and upscale new Sunnydale. Alrighty then. During Vampire Weekend, a festival celebrating the town's dark past, vampires Jack and Shirley emerge from a construction site, killing a teen and planning a ritual to raise a vampire army at Cursed Circle. Alrighty then. There we go. Well, I mean, let's try to be the most generous. What is this saying? Well, that we're kind of stuck in the past. I mean, if the pilot is going to be a vampire duo or couple, that's going to be Devil Buffy and Nova. This is basically a lot like the Master's plan, although they're mixing things up, right? Season 1 was mainly the Master. In Season 2, we got Spike and Drusilla. So it seems they're just trading some parts of Season 2 with parts of Season 1, and there we go, pilot. And we are reversing some things that Joss laid out because, again, spoilers. I read the comic. I'm not even going to get into the comic, but the comic continues the story from the TV show. And there, Sunnydale stays destroyed, at least for a little while. But here, they just rebuilt it. Why? Who? What would be the reason? Don't know. So we're still in California. However, some of the behind the scenes photos show Sarah Michelle Gellar in a dress, and she looks good. She looks fine. But it seems a little out of character that Buffy would be with the dress. I've actually done another commentary on this because, again, we're just getting more and more information. I don't have an issue with the dress per se. I mean, Buffy has changed her style, but we're kind of like asking questions. Is it normal for Buffy to be in a business suit, apparently running to the office or having some business meeting? No, that is very much not what Buffy used to do. So, is this part of the school business? Is this a private academy? Is it somewhere in between? Is it a public school with private contractors? Again, a lot of questions. And they have a ritual to celebrate town dark past. Okay, why would they do that? I don't know. I mean, Sunnydale, the town itself, is kind of weird. And yes, you're talking to a real Buffy expert. So the town kept changing and transforming during the series. It used to be a very small, quaint California town, and then it got so big it has its own airport. So, yeah, they've reshaped Sunnydale in a radical direction. This is a lot. So, it was destroyed with a massive hole at the series finale before, and now they just rebuilt it. But I mean, did they literally recreate the whole town entirely? So we have Buffy's old house just rebuilt, as well as what, the magic box? Or is this? Yes, they rebuilt it, but it is brand new. So, okay, and what is Buffy's living situation? Because her mom is dead. Minor spoiler: her mom is dead, and tragically, Michelle passed away. So Dawn is gone. So is she living alone? Is she married? Is she a lesbian? What is happening here? And we'll put aside the romance because obviously some of these older actors, yeah, we kind of know where we're going to go with Buffy. Okay, but the focus is going to be on Nova and her adventures and her romances. But this is a really big task. Before, it was a tight group, right? We had Xander, Willow, and Buffy, as well as Giles. Or we have like 10 characters. This is a little weird. And the names, frankly, don't sound like Buffy names at all. And I gotta be brutally honest, the character names not working for me, except for Abe. None of these sound like Buffy names. Like, Buffy names should have some mixture of something very mythical or something very plain. But this is just like Hugo and Gracie. This just sounds like bad AI fanfiction. So, yeah. And again, we don't know fully who these characters are, so we got to be a little patient. But it does seem like we're just doing very horror 101. We're setting up a lot of characters. Some of these people will be cannon fodder. They'll be killed off, and that'll provide motivation for the heroes. And there you go. But I will give them points. I mean, it does seem with Nova, they're just basically combining Buffy and Willow, making her a bookworm. But okay. I mean, that could still be good. It's not necessarily a bad idea. Making the new Buffy a hot, sexy, young cheerleader that looks a lot like Christy Swanson and Sarah Michelle Gellar, that would have been just really ridiculous. So, okay, so we're not just literally cloning Buffy. We are moving on. We're progressing to new characters and a new situation, but we're hanging on to a lot of the old material. But how's this going to work? And Sarah has clarified, yes, she's going to be helping out with the story. So she will be dictating some, and she will be advising and helping the cast. Well, this is how we did it. This is how we do the stunts. This is how we reacted, so on and so forth. And I'm like, I'm kind of very nervous. Like Sarah famously, again, I've seen a lot of her interviews where she does discuss Buffy. She really doesn't know the details. I mean, she will brag that, yeah, all these lore details, all these little things that the fans know, I don't really know. I really don't care. When she gets quizzed a lot, she gets things wrong all the time. It's charming and amusing. Again, those are different things. The performer does not have to be a show expert, but now she's someone with real executive power. So I expect a lot of minor details, at least, to be totally wrong. Like, that is not what happened in the original series, and they're just gonna do it because Sarah wills it to be so. So, yeah, I'm a little nervous. So, again, is this going to be a seamless transition? Oh no, this will be like a hard reboot. They're selling it as a soft reboot, and I think that is the intention. They're not trying to radically change things, but I'm sure the hardcore fans are going to go crazy with the pilot and be like, that is not how that works. That is not how the vampires operated. So it is definitely going to be very radically different from the Joss Whedon vampires. Again, Joss had very confused ideas. I want to be very clear here. The vampires and the demons in Buffy, as well as even Angel. Angel, they improved things a lot. However, they don't make sense. They are really confusing. To this day, fans are still debating what is a soul? What is a demon in the Buffy canon? We really don't know. There are so many different answers. So there's going to be confusing stuff with the first episode. no doubt about that. There was a lot of confusing stuff with the original Buffy. So we want to be careful not to misjudge the original as some perfect series. It was not. But so far, I'm not totally alarmed with the new details, but I would have to say expectations need to be recalibrated. I think the intention is to do a soft reboot and to try to continue the story from the 1990s to the 2000s. However, I think this will pretty much be its own story, right? It will have, yeah, when the hardcore people are going to go through the fine. I think when the hardcore people go through this, they're going to be like, wow, this is really different. But what about most Buffy fans who probably do think they're hardcore, but are really just passive fans? They're like, oh, okay, Buffy just kills vampires, have romances, and, that's basically it. I don't think they're going to mind too much. I think they're going to notice, like, wait, they're doing this? No, it's like, okay, I thought the other one, the thing was different. So I think a lot of the fans will be confused, but I think it'll be positive confused, at least at first. So there we are. Is this what I would have wanted? No, I do my own writing. I do professional writing. I do fiction writing, as well as nonfiction writing. This doesn't sound like a good place to begin, but again, this is the premise. This is the pilot, and Buffy, by definition, has a lot of twists. So a lot of things they're setting up in the pilot may not be what we think they are. So we have to be careful. That's just in the nature of the beast that Buffy's addicted to twists. Good twists, bad twists. So things may not go where we think. I'm sure Nova will remain Buffy from beginning to end the hero, right? But beyond that, we can't count on anything. So want to be careful here that we're gonna have to give the writers and Chloe Zhao, they will pull the rug from under you. That is part of the show. So got to be careful there. So more reasons to be nervous than excited, but I'm intrigued. These are intriguing places they will go, but as far as like I'm getting a little bit more nervous. Not totally panicking here, but more nervous than before.